Hey, hey, hey. What's up, everybody? Pause that. You got music playing in the background. That won't work. One and all. Okay. The one and all. The room was a tomb, the air thick with the ghosts of yesterday's highs and the promise of tomorrow's lows. Carnage sat before a blank canvas, a silent scream tapped in the white space. A silent scream trapped in the white space. The brush in his hands was a dead weight, an extension of his own inertia. An extension of his own inertia. His mind a storm of fractured thoughts and buzzing anxiety. It was a battlefield. ADHD, a relentless drummer, beat a key. It beat a chaotic rhythm against the inside of his skull. Okay, here we go. Carnage sat before a blank canvas, a silent scream trapped in the white space. The brush in his hand was a dead weight, an extension of his own inertia. His mind a storm of fractured thoughts and buzzing anxieties was a battlefield. ADHD, a relentless drummer, beat a chaotic rhythm against the inside of his skull. Depression leaned. Let it lead. Depression, a leaden cloak, smothered the embers of his spirit. An addiction, a hungry ghost, whispered, insane, whispered its insatiable demands from the shadows. There was a time before the storm, a sun-drenched studio, a scent of turpentine and fresh paint, a younger Carnage, alive with the fire of creation. His hands, then, were not leaden weights, but extensions of his soul, dancing across the canvas, leaving trails of vibrant colors in their wake. But even then, the seed of the storm were there, and the restless energy that teaches and the restless energy that teachers called disruptive, and the racing thoughts that made it hard to focus on anything but the art. He was always different, and the world had a way of making different feel wrong. The bottom is not a place you arrive. The bottom is not a place you arrive at gently. It is a sudden, gut-wrenching drop, a shattering of itself. Carnage lay on the floor of his tomb, the silence of the room amplifying the roar of his inner demons. In that moment of absolute desolation, a cry tore through his throat, a raw, primal sound of soul and agony. It was not a prayer to God, not the one he knew, but a desperate plea flung into the void, a last desperate hope that something, anything, was listening. A memory, a soft whisper, surfaced from the depths of his despair. His grandmother, her hands gnarled with the age, but her eyes bright with an unwavering faith. Sometimes, child, she told him, her voice a warm blanket on a cold night. You have to reach for a hand you can't see. The memory of a forgotten seed began to sprout into the barren soil of his heart. A tiny, fragile shoot of hope. He picked up the brush. He picked up the brush again, but this time there was no pressure. Not to create a masterpiece. No need to impress. More to prove. He simply let the storm within him spill onto the canvas. The black of his despair, the jagged red of his anger, the chaotic swirls of his racing thoughts. It was a brutal, honest self-portrait, a testament to his pain. And in its raw, unfiltered chaos, there was a strange, terrible beauty. He shared his art online, a digital message in a bottle, cast into the vast ocean of the internet. He wrote about the storm, the fall, and the faint glimmer of the distant light. He wrote about his struggles with brutal honesty, and that was both terrifying and liberating. In the digital darkness, replies began to trickle in. Me too, they said. I thought I was the only one. A tribe of the broken and the beautiful begun to gather around his digital campfires. The digital campfire grew into a beacon. He shed his anonymity. He shed his anonymity. He shed his anonymity and gave his tribe a name, the Ground Up Hope Collective. It was a declaration of a different kind of sovereignty, not of nations or of kings, but individual soul. A declaration that each person had the right to their own story, their own pain, and their own path of healing. It was a space to be broken and to be whole, to be lost and to be found. The collective became a global symphony of creative expression. A recovering addict in a small town of Ohio shared a song he had written on a battered guitar. A young woman in Tokyo, battling an eating disorder, posted delicate, intricate drawings. A veteran in Texas, haunted by the ghost of war, wrote a poem that was both brutal and beautiful. The art was their therapy, their testimony, and their lifeline. Carnage, once a prisoner in his own mind, was now a lighthouse. Carnage, once a prisoner in his own mind, was now a lighthouse keeper, his light guiding others through the storm. He saw his pain not as a curse, but as a crucible, a fire that forged him into something stronger, something more compassionate. He had found his purpose, not in the pursuit of fame or fortune, but in the simple, profound act of helping others to find their way. Profound act of helping others find their own creative spark, their own connections, and to the hand they couldn't see. The room was no longer a tomb, but a sanctuary. The walls, once bare and oppressive, were covered with vibrant, diverse art of the Ground Up Hope Collective. Carnage stood before a new canvas, the brush in his hand on a longer dead weight. But the brush in his hand no longer dead weight, but a conduit for the light he had found in the darkness. He was no longer just Carnage, the broken artist. He was part of something bigger, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, a living embodiment of the truth that we are all connected. The truth that we are all connected. That we are, in the end, one and all. From the one and only. Have a blessed day.